Welcome back to the channel. This week we're spending our entire time with this 2025 Mazda CX-90. That's what I was about to say. Oh my god. Welcome back to the channel. This week we're spending our entire time with this 2025 Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid electric. This is also the GT trim, so fully loaded, all the bells and whistles, everything that you can imagine, everything that you can think of. My trim has pretty much got it from Mazda, which is really, really nice. Aside from, the different colored interior, but still, the black and basic one still looks pretty nice. This vehicle is a pretty much almost a full-size three-row. It's a little tight in the three-row from what I'm seeing just already, but really nice look. I still really enjoy this. It looks like, a sportier kind of soccer car or hockey car here in Canada at least. So it still looks really nice. I like the little plug-in hybrid logo right back there. Taking a look at the back, I don't have too much room where I parked, but I'll show you a little bit more as I get into bigger parking lots later on in the week there, but still classic kind of tail lights. We also have an automatic tailgate, which will open that, try not to get hit by it. Very cool. Got a little bit of storage here underneath this little carpet here where my bag and stuff is, and you can also see the charger, the actual plug-in hybrid charger, which I'll be just plugging into the normal wall. Privacy thing, I'm gonna have to take that out, it looks like, to actually bring my third row up, and I've got the configuration which gives me the captain's chairs. I've got climate control back here. I've got everything. So let's just close this, get out of the way. So as it's like minus 20 here with the wind chill, let's actually hop in to this thing and I'll give you my first driving impressions. Let's get the week started. All right, on the road now for the Mazda CX-90 hybrid, plug-in hybrid, which is very interesting. Right now it's telling me I got about 12 kilometers and my battery's almost full. So I think I might be losing a little bit of range, of EV range, in this absolute cold. It's like minus 21 with the wind chill today here in Quebec. So it is extremely cold outside. So that 13 kilometers might go up, might get even worse as the week goes on here. But I think the weather's supposed to ease off, or the cold is supposed to ease off throughout the end of the week. So I'll kind of show you, or hopefully I remember to show you that again at the end of the week, what the number is. But just driving overall, I've driven it on the highway, now I'm driving it in kind of the city, and it's very comfortable. It's probably one of the most comfortable Mazdas I've been in, probably because it's a bit bigger, it's a three-row, it can handle the bumps a little bit better. Just tech-wise as well, I think Mazda's done a big jump with the CX-90, and obviously I think the CX-70 as well will probably follow through with that. But yeah, so far very nice. I have a couple of different drive modes. Like I can put it in full electric mode, but it's kind of useless. I think I'm just going to keep it in sport mode or not sport mode, but normal mode, because it's doing a good job at like managing it. Right now, it says that I'm doing 9.6 liters per 100 kilometers. I think that's probably about going to be my number. Just the average number, just because it's going to have to idle a lot. I got to film it. It's going to stay in one place. And then there's a little bit of highway driving that needs to be done as well. So it's going to be a thing that is probably going to stay like that. But I think long-term owners would probably get a lot better fuel economy out of it than I actually am or will. So that's going to be good too. It's got a little bit of a regenerative braking. I have it set on the normal mode, but I can see that when I let off the gas, it is charging the battery. And I can't feel what it's doing. I can't feel whether or not it has the gas engine on or the EV motor on, really. And that's really good. I don't feel like any weird vibration. I don't hear any weird noises. So that's all very good stuff. I have some paddle shifters in here too. So that's kind of an interesting thing. It's been a while since I've had a Mazda with some paddle shifters. So that's cool. I did the CX-50 hybrid just recently, and that was extremely good. I got a pretty decent fuel economy number, again, for what I need to use it for, idling a lot, staying in the same place. I think it's good. This will probably be a little bit worse than that one, just based because it's so big, but I have plenty of room for my kids' stuff, which is really good. I'm probably going to keep that third row there folded down the entire time. Handling wise feels pretty tuned in as well. I don't feel any weird things. It is a three-row, and it definitely drives like it. There's really nothing special or crazy special about it. In the more sporty mode, I can give it some beams. It's actually got quite impressive pickup. That actually feels pretty good. There's a bit of a noise there from the engine, but it feels pretty good. It definitely doesn't light up the timesheets, but again, you're really not looking for that when you drive a Mazda. I'm probably only going to use sport mode for filming, and that's pretty much it. So I can't wait to take you through the entire thing. I'm going to show you the interior, the trunk space. If it has it, I'm going to try to show it to you so that you have all the information you need in case you're in the market for one of these Mazda CX-90 fully plug-in hybrid electric vehicles. Let's pick it back up later. All right, welcome back outside with the Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid electric. Let's do a little quick walk around now. I've got the sun out and everything. Car's actually still clean because the roads aren't that disgusting here in Montreal. So let me know what you think. I mean, I heard the jokes, that it's a bigger CX-50, and after just driving and looking at the CX-50 for a week, I get it. But I mean, it's taller, it's longer, it's wider. I feel like it's the better option should you be able to afford it. I think the plug-in hybrid battery is going to be maybe a little bit better off just in terms of electric driving range. But if you don't want to have to manage it, then you definitely want to get the mild hybrid version. But still, I really like this. I think this is very clean. Finding it hard to find things really to complain about. I mean, there is a few things, and I'll talk about it when we actually take this car for a drive. But let me know, do you like this GT trim? Do you like the color? How do you find the styling in 2025? Do you think Mazda's stayed current with their stuff, or you think they're due for a mid-cycle, or better yet, full refresh with their CX-90 platform? I really want to know your thoughts on it. So let me know in the comments, and we'll pick it back up later because it's absolutely freezing out here. All right, sitting inside the Mazda CX-90 because it's snowing outside. So let's just go over the interior while we're sitting in here. So really nice steering wheel. I like it. There's not really a huge thing to complain about. We've got our physical buttons, and if you know me, you know I enjoy my physical buttons. Got your cruise control stuff on the right hand side, infotainment and sound control stuff like that on the left hand side. All the way to the left, we do have some buttons. We have 2 memory seat settings as well as the automatic tailgate. I can turn off my parking sensor, my traction control, and I have a trunk button right there. Window controls are over there on the left hand side. Nothing crazy to go over there. But the cool thing is now we kind of have this fully digital gauge cluster, which is a new addition. Usually Mazda kind of does that mix of digital and analog, but now we have something fully digital. The only place that's really customizable though is down in the right there, where it's going to tell me that my tire pressure is low. That's fine, I know about it. And then we have the iActive stuff, but you can kind of change this around for whatever you want. I usually just leave it on the fuel economy, but check this out. I do have a couple of drive modes. I've got the off-road mode, which is going to look like this. Just give it a second, it'll change. Boom, very cool. EV mode, I don't have enough battery to actually switch into it. Normal mode, you've already seen it. It looks like that. A little cool animation. And sport mode, of course, looks the coolest in the red. Very nice little animation. Not the quickest thing in the world, does take a second to load, but still a huge improvement over the kind of mix of digital and analog. Now we've gone full digital and kind of kept up with the current stuff here in 2025, so I don't mind that. In terms of the screen, it is not a touchscreen unless you plug in your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, then it will become a touchscreen for that. But honestly, it's closer in the CX-90 than I found in the CX-50, but you're still going to use this knob. Honestly, most of the time you're going to use this knob. Even if it does become a touchscreen with your Apple CarPlay connected, you're still going to use this. Honestly, I don't mind it. Some people don't like it at all. Look, I don't mind it at all. It's kind of easy to use while I'm driving around, so that way I'm not touching the phone really, or I'm not messing with the screen that's too far away. So this is perfect the way it is. And it's also just a plug-and-play system, right? You just know where everything is. Not a lot is hidden in settings. There's not, like, this is it. This is as much selection on the home screen that you get. And really, that's all you need, especially for people who don't like all that, bells and whistles stuff. Well, this is exactly what it is, just simple and easy to understand and use, so no complaints there either. Then we move to our HVAC controls, got a little screen for it, but everything is physical buttons, which I like as well. Heated and ventilated seats up here in the front. We can also control the rear ventilation, or we can control the rear climate from the front here as well. So not bad there either. That's where I'm changing my drive mode. So if I press this button, the car will start to charge the vehicle, and it'll ask me if I want to change it, which I don't. But it'll charge the battery if you want. You can kind of feel like the engine, the RPMs pick up a little bit. When you do that, I've got a 360-degree camera right here, which is very nice. You can kind of see all the angles, the left, right, the front, the back, the wide view, and you get the nice overhead there, so you can always kind of see where the car is. It's a bigger vehicle, so it's nice to have. Like I said, I've got all my quick access controls with the knob right there. I've got a little bit of storage with a USB-C port in there, cup holders. You can kind of option this in like a more, I guess, luxurious feeling interior. You can get like a white, which does look really nice, but I've only got the black one, but I like this soft touch material here. I like the fact that the liner is, actually black, and it's not that kind of beige, cheap stuff that I usually will complain about and that you sometimes see in the Mazda top trims. I've got the Bose sound system here. These seats are very nice as well, pretty comfortable. I don't have that issue where I found them uncomfortable in the CX-50. These ones are pretty good. And, obviously the baby seat back there, she enjoys it, no problem so far, easy to get her in and out, so we like that as well. And I like the little silver bits. I like the fact that this is not piano black. black, so it's not going to get all fingerprinty. There's really not a lot of piano black here on the interior, so fingerprints are going to be pretty much minimal, especially if you're not touching the screen that much, and there's no really reason to do it because you got the knob. So everything's going to stay relatively clean, which I do enjoy. Now, there are a few things of the CX-90 that I don't enjoy, specifically when it comes to the driving, because I've had a little bit more time with it. So let me mount the GoPro up, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that. All right, so getting back out on the road with the Mazda CX-90. Like I said, there is a couple of things I want to talk to you about driving-wise. Little weird car behaviors that I'm just absolutely not a fan of and that have actually really bothered me. Part of me thinks it's because of the cold, the extreme cold. I mean, it's been minus like 20, 23. It's supposed to be getting a little bit better. And as it, like, especially today, just in general, it's actually gotten better. But still, I live in a place, in a climate where, you know, it's just not great. It's going to be cold for almost 6 months out of the year, or at least what it feels like anyways. And, you know, you need a vehicle to be able to handle that. So it's one of the things that I obviously look for. So yeah, let's talk about it a little bit. So we got the EV mode, right? Like, the EV mode is great. It's currently what I'm in. When the engine switches over, most of the time, I don't notice it. But in the extreme cold, there is such a delay with the engine to start that it almost feels like the vehicle has lost power. Like, it happened to me, like, while I was trying to join the highway. We're going to join the highway in a couple moments here to see if it happens again. It's not as cold, but -7. When I did it, it was about -15, not including wind chill or whatever. So, like, it was cold outside, like, properly bad. So, like, right now, while I'm in this kind of going very slow, I'm going 22 kilometers, I'm in fully EV mode. Obviously, with a plug-in, you get a bigger battery and stuff, so the EV mode will take you further than something like your normal mild hybrid system. And I can actually go a little bit faster because I have the plug-in, longer range, bigger battery, stuff like that. So it's a little easier, but so I was joining the highway, and my speed just left, and then I could feel something happening, and then the engine just, like, suddenly sprung to life, and I had my drive back. But it was like a really big delay, like an unnecessarily large delay. Also, there will be times where I'm pressing the gas and I'm on EV mode, and then it'll switch and I won't actually feel the engine fire on, but the car, especially when I'm going slowly, the vehicle will kind of like jolt a little bit. Like, it's very slight, and I don't know if the average person would notice. It's probably because I drive so many cars, so I notice all these little subtle things that go on. But, like, when I switch from EV to gas, sometimes it's just like this sudden little boost that, like, I didn't ask for or want. So it's just, you know, it's obviously not going to make me crash or anything. It's not a safety concern, but it's just awkward. It's just weird. It kind of makes me think that I don't know how much winter testing, you know, a car like this has been through, just because it doesn't seem to enjoy starting up in the cold. Just in general, from like a cold start in the winter, I get in, it's very cold outside, especially in the morning, like no sun, nothing. So it's like, it's properly in the -20s, and I press it and the engine just seems to, like, not enjoy trying to be started in that weather. I mean, let me know, other Mazda owners, you can kind of chime in and tell me what your experience is with your Mazda in extreme cold conditions, and, you know, how's the engine startup sound? Does it sound like it absolutely hates it, or is it absolutely fine? It could be just my model, you know, these things get pushed on a lot too. But yeah, if I test drove one of these things and it did that thing where it just took forever to turn the engine on, I don't know, it would scare me of actually owning one full time. So we're gonna join the highway, then we're gonna turn around, and we're going to put it in sport mode on the way back. So now, because I didn't get it in sport mode, because I think sport mode really just turns the engine on preemptively and keeps it on, does not really allow the car to stop or turn off or do any of that. So I want to test it with this. So I'm in EV mode right now, but I'm assuming that when I try to go here, which I'll do, I'm just going to stomp on it. That's just in normal mode. Obviously, the engine is quite loud, but it's actually got quite a bit of pickup, right? And that time I didn't get the little weird cutoff thing that I was talking about, because the engine was basically on from the second it realized what I was doing. A slight delay, obviously, from the system switching, but nothing like I experienced early on in the week. So that's good news that, you know, at least in the warmer conditions, slightly warmer, I mean, it's still freezing out, but not as bad. It doesn't tend to do it. It was just in that extremely cold day that it was just not having it. And it scared me a little bit. I was like, oh boy, is something going to fail? But no, we're good now. So on the way back here, we will put it into sport mode. Overall, the handling and stuff like that is good, just in normal mode. It's been snowing. There's been a little bit of snow on the ground, a little bit of slush and ice. So the all-wheel drive system has been very good. I haven't been slipping. It's been perfectly safe for me and my child. Fuel economy though, 9.6 liters per 100 kilometers. I think it could be like way lower if I drove this like, you know, the average consumer, but it's just hard to do that when I'm idling all the time. So my weak stats are just messed up because I'll leave the car sitting for like, you know, half an hour, 45 minutes on so that I can film things for you. I can film the B-roll for the main stuff and other things like that. So it idles a lot more than anything average, you know, because usually you just get to the grocery store, turn the car off, that's it, you get home. When you're reviewing cars, it's not really like that. So let's throw her into sport mode. I've also been driving in basically normal mode because, I mean, sport mode's nice to have, but not something that in a vehicle like this, I'm really looking to use. All right, let's turn the corner here. It's got a bit of a hill, so we'll wait. We'll get up the hill a bit and give it some beams. Nobody behind me, all good. Oh, no, there's an Audi, but it's gonna take a while. We'll get up here. All right, so really a little bit of a rolling punch here. Let's go. Nice and impressive. It holds the revs quite well, tries to keep the speed as much as it can. I don't mind that at all. Sport mode is actually very nice. Steering wheel is nice and tight. You like that. The pickup is actually a lot better in sport mode than in normal mode, so that's also really nice to have. Yeah, it's quite impressive. It's actually very good speed-wise. And Mazda's pretty good at that, especially in the top trims, right? They usually don't make too much of a slow cars, or there's not much of a compromise in terms of speed there. So it's really good. Obviously, if I had like a full launch, the battery would be a little bit more quicker maybe. I've got 1 kilometer of electric driving, it says, so it's probably just keeping that to start, stop, and power the stuff and actually not letting me drive on it. But still, solid. I just hope that weird engine switch delay isn't always present in a little bit warmer weather. That would be the thing. So far, no, because we just tested it now live on camera and it hasn't shown itself. But we'll see if it gets colder on during the week. I'll try to see if I can test it and let you know. Let's open up the trunk though, because I want to show you a few things. Of course, it's automatic tailgate in this price point. Nice to see. Plenty of room here in the trunk. Really good news. You got some onboard power should you need it. So that's also good as well. Got some cup holders back here. You can get a good close look at your third row. The only thing is though, if I wanted to raise the seats, well, that's just not going to happen in this configuration because I simply will hit the privacy bar. I have to remove the privacy bar in order to bring up the third row, which just tells me that I think Mazda expects people to use this with the third row down 90% of the time. That's something that I would do, but if you have a big family and you want the privacy screen, unfortunately you can't have both, right? It's either one or the other. It just would have been nice to be able to put up the third row without having to do the extra work to take this bar out. It's an interesting one. But nonetheless, this is how I would keep it anyway. So for my week with it, really hasn't affected me because I've got a ton of trunk space here.
All right, outside for the final time, you're gonna have to excuse the wind and my voice because I've got a cold and it's super windy outside. But quick little walk around of the outside. You can see how dirty it is. It's just disgusting, the roads. As soon as it snows here in Quebec, it absolutely gets disgusting. But it's been a really good time with the Mazda CX-90. It's just been fine to, you know, fit all my stuff in, my daily mall crawler kind of situation, run errands in it, absolutely no problem. And yeah, really hard to find things to complain about other than that slight little engine thing that I found where it doesn't switch properly between electric and gas. There's a big delay, but we'll talk about that a little bit more as we hop in. So let's actually do that because it's freezing and it's windy. So let's hop in. I'll give you my final driving impressions.
All right, so on the road one final time, you're gonna have to excuse my voice because, well, I've just apparently caught a cold, hence the winter. So yeah, that's why my voice sounds like a lot weirder than normal. So just give me a second. And also, we got a haircut during the week, so a whole bunch of things are different. But the CX-90 is still driving the same. I'm driving it like blowing snow right now, but there's no snow on the ground, so no worries. But yeah, overall, the CX-90 has been very easy to use, no problem in the winter. The battery has definitely lost some range. So I've got like full battery range right now. I think Mazda quotes it at like 43 kilometers, fully electric range. I've actually got 20 right now. So it's definitely cutting my kilometers in half in the cold weather. But again, we know that about batteries. It's not a huge surprise. Overall, I've enjoyed the visibility. The ride quality is quite bouncy. It does feel like quite rigid and bouncy at times, especially when the roads are just not good, which is most of the time here in Quebec. So it's been a bit of a bouncy ride, but not something that I couldn't get used to, and definitely not a deal breaker for me. Is actually that little issue with, you know, the switch between electric and gas. You know, I felt like there was too much of a delay in extreme cold weather. I also felt like the car just wasn't happy starting in extremely cold conditions. And I'm not talking like -10, you know,
-9, whatever. I'm talking like -21 to -25. You know, the super extreme cold that we tend to get here in Quebec quite often. But actually right now I'm going about 60 kilometers and I'm driving in full EV mode. I'm not actually sure the engine has started at all since I've started talking to the camera here. So that's kind of interesting. But as we get lower into the kilometers, it's definitely going to have to start to pick up. But look, you can definitely do some of your short commutes. Like right now, I'm just going to get a little bit of groceries, and I think I could do the whole thing just on electric range. So I won't have to touch my gas tank at all to get groceries, which is pretty cool. At least one way, right? And maybe not on the way back. Maybe I might have to, the car might need to kick on the engine, but at least for the way there, I don't need to touch any gas. That's very nice. Handling wise, I've been completely fine. It's definitely not going to light up the track times or anything like that, but it is still good enough in the fact that, you know, you get the predictability out of the Mazda CX-90. So that's good. No complaints there. So yeah, that's gonna about do it for my week with the Mazda CX-90. I've got a cold now, so apologies if this last segment is kind of all over the place. The cold is kind of currently rotting my brain. So hopefully as we get on into the new week, things get a little bit better. And if you don't see a video from me, well then it's because the cold is really taking over my brain for a little while. But I should be back. I should be, you know, a couple days here. We should be right back where we were prior sickness, right? So it is the winter and we get that. But let me know what you think about the Mazda CX-90. I want to hear all your thoughts. Do you want the PHEV? Do you want the Inline 6, the faster one, the sportier one? Would you take this color? Tell me everything. Are you in the market? Do you already own one? I want to know all your thoughts in the comments. Let me know, and we'll have a little discussion about it. And with that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next week. See you in the next car. Take care.